Hey guys, this is Matt once again, and I guess welcome to part 7 of my DVD collection. And let's get started. Started off, was right over here. So first off we got Disturbia with Shia LaBeouf. Film I highly enjoyed. Then we got an exploitation cinema of The Forest and Don't Go in the Woods Tonight or You Will Be Killed. Chop you up in little pieces. Um, at least the Don't Go in the Woods does has a funny commentary with this group called Cinema Head Cheese, which they totally make fun of this movie and it should. But yeah, that's those two slasher movies. Then, Stuart Gordon film, Dolls. I remember seeing this when I was a kid. This DVD actually has two commentaries, two commentary tracks, which is pretty cool. Two commentary tracks for this film. Dolls. Then we got 3-pack of Demonic Toys, Doll Man, and Doll Man vs. Demonic Toys. My favorite would be Doll Man with Tim Thomerson. Then a film that a lot of people hate, but I really do enjoy. Is it the definitive film? No, but I still enjoy this one. Doom. Could they make a better movie? Yes, but I still enjoy this one. Then you got Donnie Darko, the director's cut. This is the DVD that has a commentary with writer-director Richard Kelly and director Kevin Smith. Disc 2 with a bunch of features. You got the Mel Brooks film, Dracula Dead and Loving It. Yeah, a film with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd called Dragnet. Yeah, a film that got criticized a lot, but I actually really do enjoy. Kevin Costner in Dragonfly. I actually do enjoy this one. Film I've talked about quite a bit is, of course, Drive. Yeah, we got a pretty funny one. Dude, Where's My Car? Features a very funny audio commentary as well. Ashton Kutcher and Sean William Scott. Then we got a classic film called Duel. This is the collector's edition with interviews with Steven Spielberg and Richard Matheson. Then we have a fun Rodney Dangerfield film that he did with Joe Pesci called Easy Money. Then we got the special edition of Ed Wood. And we got 8-Legged Freaks with David Arquette. Endangered Species, although this guy's not in the movie, but this is a film starring Eric Roberts, Arnold Vosloo, and John Rhys Davies. And it's directed by Kevin S. Tenney, who I think directed Richboard, among others. Then we have some Ernest movies. We have Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest is a character I grew up with. Then we have a 3-pack that has Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Stares Stupid, and Ernest Goes to Jail. And thanks to a good guy out there, I have Ernest Rise Again. And then there's this Essential Ernest Collection 2-disc set, which basically this features Ernest Goes to Africa, Ernest in the Army, Your World as I See It, Hey Ernest, My Family Album, and Ernest's Greatest Hits 1 and 2. Because originally this character was a spokesman on commercials for a bunch of products. Basically, this was a character he had that did a bunch of commercials, including Mellow Yellow. So then, I guess they got popular enough, they decided to make some movies out of him. So I guess the only Ernest stuff I don't have is Ernest Goes to School, Slam Dunk Ernest. Not sure what else. That might be the only two. But I couldn't find those, so oh well. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This is a film I highly enjoy. Event Horizon. Doesn't matter if something's not original as long as it's very entertaining. I thought that was entertaining and creepy. This is Evil Dead, the first film in this Book of the Dead edition. I know they did this for Evil Dead 2 and 3, but I might as well have the Blu-ray of Evil Dead 2 that has more features and Army of Darkness as well. I don't need them all as this, but it opens up like that. And that's where you have your DVD. Book of the Dead edition of the first Evil Dead film. Film I highly enjoy, Evolution. Underrated movie. David Duchovny, Orlando Jones, Charlize Scott, and Julianne Moore. Then we have a film called Evolver, which I enjoyed. I think I did a review for this film. It's on the channel, I believe. If not, I'll have to do another one. But this is a film I actually really did enjoy as well, Evolver. Then we have The Exorcist 3. Unfortunately, this is bare bones, but this is my favorite of the series. Yes, I like this more than the first one. I respect the first film, but this is my favorite. George C. Scott and Brad Dourif, Jason Miller, I thought they were fantastic in this movie. Then we have an interesting little... We have two versions of the same film. Now, Exorcist 4 was always going to be a prequel. So they hired Paul Schrader, and Paul Schrader, this is a guy who wrote Taxi Driver. He's done a lot of films. He was hired to do a prequel called Exorcist. As you can see, Dominion prequel to The Exorcist. But when he got done with the movie, they were not happy. They were not going to release it. So they basically took the film and pretty much redid almost the entire movie. They kept a couple things, like they kept the lead guy, played by Stellan Skarsgård. They kept a couple scenes. But then they hired Rennie Harlan. They did this film, Exorcist: The Beginning. So it's pretty much two versions of the same film. And it's very interesting watching these back to back. It's a very interesting thing. And I gotta say, this one is more of an action film, which makes sense because it's Rennie Harlan, and this is more of a thought-provoking film. But it's definitely an interesting comparison between the two. And we got Explorers, a film that was pitch perfect, fantastic until the ending. The ending to this film is one of the worst fucking endings that completely derailed the movie. When they find the aliens and they're these dipshit, dumbass, TV coked up, moron, annoying little fuckers. I'm like, the kids are more mature than you guys. It ruined the magic. It ruined this magical journey with these characters. It's like if, let's say you have, okay, let's say E.T. Then in the third act, it becomes a fucking Fairley Brothers movie. You know, fucking. That's what I mean. They just ruined the ending. They ruined the third act. I'd rather have them not see what the aliens are. I mean, it's like the destination sucked. I mean, I love the movie, but I love it for its first and second parts, not the third act. We talked about this. This is basically something I got ripped off on. I thought these were trailers for horror films, but it's just a bunch of shitty porno type movies. This is a film I reviewed that's very solid thriller. Extreme Measures, Hugh Grant, Gene Hackman. Then you got, this is a film I actually won. The guys that did Pit, they had one of their Blot TVs, and you had to do some stuff to win a copy of this, and I did. And that's Faces of Death. Now, I can't say I'm a big fan of the movie per se, but this is the 30th anniversary edition, and I will say, even though I'm not a fan of the movie, the commentary with the director is very fascinating. Sort of the history of this film is fascinating. Obviously, a feature with FLETCH creators Alan Apone and Douglas J. Weiss, so obviously not all of this is real stuff. Most of this is actually fake. But this is a fascinating history behind it. To me, more fascinating than the movie itself, but then you got The Faculty. This is a Family Guy one. The Freaking Sweet Collection, which about 2 hours of stuff on here. We have the only good movie in this trilogy, Feast. The first Feast is the only good one in my opinion. It's an awesome, fun movie. Really remind you of the 80s type of movies. Feast. I don't understand what happened to this director. This is a really good first film, but then Part 2 and 3 sucked ass, and Piranha 3 Double D sucked ass. I don't know what the hell happened. I really would love to know. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This is the Bueller edition. Has special features on the making of the film. Then you got Final Destination 1 with a bunch of features. You got my favorite, Final Destination 2. Then you got the last one. This is the one it lost me. This is when the series lost me. Final Destination 3. Yeah, Firewall with Harrison Ford and Paul Bettany. Yeah, a film I highly enjoy. Absolutely love this movie. The First Power with Lou Diamond Phillips and Jeff Kober as the bad guy. See you around, buddy boy. Love The First Power. Very underrated movie. This is a film that I've talked about, and you know, Fire Across the Eyes. This is a film that I even said in that review, if you see it, you'll probably hate it, but for some reason, I liked it. And then you have the Savior of the Universe edition of Flash Gordon from 1980. Great soundtrack by Queen. Flash, Savior of the Universe. Then we got Fletch. This is the Jane Doe edition that has all these features, but not one single interview with Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase, you're not that busy. What are you doing lately? You can't do an interview for Fletch. You're stupid. I don't have the sequel either. The Flock is a pretty decent thriller with Richard Gere, Claire Danes. The Flock. Then we have the great special edition to The Fly, a classic movie, directed by David Cronenberg. Come on. Then you have The Fly 2, which I'm surprised they actually gave this a special edition, but they gave it a good special edition. A lot of good documentaries, stuff like that on it. And then the remake of The Fog, which I saw, and this movie sucked ass. You know, people go, well, why do you think the RoboCop remake will suck? You gotta give it a chance. Why do I have to give it a chance? Why can't I just think it sucks? It's going to suck. You know, I thought the same way on Total Recall, and guess what? I saw it and it sucked. I thought the same way on The Fog, and I saw it and it sucked. I thought the same way on Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I felt the same way on, you know, all these other films. The Hitcher remake. It sucked. Prom Night remake. It sucked. April Fool's Day remake. It sucked. Okay? Amityville Horror remake. It sucked. Yeah. Fool's Gold. Got the 2-disc edition of Forrest Gump. I found that it seems like more people hate it today. But I still enjoy Forrest Gump. Then we got wonderful film Fortress. Good film by Stuart Gordon. And yes, this does have the extended ending where the vehicle is chasing Christopher Lambert, you know, through the barn and all that stuff. I enjoy that film, Fortress. Good drama thriller, Fracture with Anthony Hopkins and Ryan Gosling. This is a fun film. Frankenfish. I know, from the same director who directed Spawn. This has like over-the-top gore. Is extremely silly with this creature. I mean, it's called Frankenfish. And there's a black guy who's actually the lead, and he's not the comic relief. So I thought that was refreshing. But that's Frankenfish. Man, if you look at the title, you know what you're getting. It's not like I lied to you. Frailty. This is a good thriller. Starring and directed by Bill Paxton. Also with Matthew McConaughey. Very well done film. Frailty. Makes you think afterwards. This is a collection that has the first three, well, all 3 Friday films, and also All About the Benjamins, which I enjoyed. I have the first Friday, but with the director's cut version. This is Fright Night, the original, the classic. No features. They came out with a Blu-ray. There were still no features. I don't understand that. I have to have Fright Night 2 on DVD-R because that DVD is hard to find. And this has no special edition? Except maybe a commentary that you have to download because the people did it. They did it because they didn't fucking studio. Because there's no features, the director and star said, hell, we're going to make our own commentary so you guys can download it. So obviously they're willing to do a commentary if they did it fucking free, pretty much. But no, they can't do that, even when the shitty-ass remake came out. That's another remake, Fright Night. That sucked. You got The Frighteners, directed by Peter Jackson. Very underrated movie. Has a great full-length documentary. Has a commentary. And but that's The Frighteners. Makes me want to do a Peter Jackson series of reviews, but I don't know. There's so much stuff I would like to do. Fritz the Cat, and then the sequel, The 9 Lives of Fritz the Cat. I was reading something on the back there. A film that I saw thanks to Michael Keane, because we did a little, kind of like a little series together where we both watched the same film. I know he was a big fan of this movie. Not really, but Frogs. Another Stuart Gordon film, From Beyond. This is the unrated director's cut version with features. Then we got From Dusk Till Dawn. This is the collector's series. It also has the full-length documentary Full Tilt Booty. Then you got, I think, an underrated sequel. I think this is a good sequel. From Dusk Till Dawn 2, Texas Blood Money, starring Robert Patrick. Directed by Scott Spiegel. Got Frozen. Yeah, I was surprised to find this because this was actually on DVD. Full Eclipse. Pretty fun, pretty decent werewolf movie. Starring Mario Van Peebles. There's one police force on the streets and they only come out at night. G-Force. Yeah, I know. The Garbage Pail Kids movie. Yeah, this is pretty bad. I watched it as a kid, but it does suck. You got The Gate, special edition with the little kid that's not in the movie. I don't know, the special features really aren't that much of anything, really. No interview with Steven Dorff. They don't even interview, like, Louis Tripp. He was too busy to do an interview. Like, you got the writer, and you got the special effects guy. They say all new cast and crew, but there are no interviews with the cast, I remember. And the commentary was pretty boring, and I don't know, it's a lackluster special edition. Then The Gate 2. Yes, that's the one where they did wishes, and their wishes actually literally turned to shit. Get Smart. And then Get Smart, Bruce and Lloyd. Pretty much a little film they did when Get Smart was getting made. I know Michael Keane was not a fan of this film, but I really enjoyed it. The Ghost in the Darkness. This is a one that was sent to me. Cartoon called Ghostbusters. Of course, this is before the actual Ghostbusters. Ghoulies 1 and 2. Yeah, mainly for Ghoulies 2, because Ghoulies 1 sucks. Because this is DVD-R of Ghoulies 3, which is now on DVD and one of those 8-packs, but whatever. Ghoulies 3, Ghoulies Go to College. Geely, not a good movie, but it's not one of the worst movies of all time. I've seen much worse, to be honest. I really have. Going to pieces, the rise and fall of the slasher film. Decent documentary. I don't like their talk on the original April Fool's Day. This dipshit. I think the same fucker who wrote like the Freddy vs. Jason versus Ash comic book and stuff. Oh, the original April Fool's Day, it ended the slasher movies. And I'm like, wow, you are a dumbass. Maybe the fact that there's like 50 a week, that ended it, dumbass. But if I met the director of April Fool's Day, I would say, you know what? I think you made one of the best ones. Because he seemed like down in the dumps when he was talking about it. It's like he got so much shit for that movie. Didn't deserve it. Then, Stephen King's The Graveyard Shift. This is a favorite of mine ever since I was a little kid. Grizzly. This is a fun, pretty much a rip-off of Jaws, but hey, it's an entertaining one. Like the cast. Grizzly. This is a good documentary. Grizzly Man. Then we got 2 John Cusack movies, Grosse Point Blank and High Fidelity. Special edition of Groundhog Day. Has a commentary with Harold Ramis and a documentary on the film, but of course, Bill Murray is nowhere to be seen. Yeah, Grown Ups. You got Gun Ho with Michael Keaton, and Jimmy Hollywood with Joe Pesci and Christian Slater. Gun Ho was directed by Ron Howard, and Jimmy Hollywood was directed by Barry Levinson, the director who went from Oscar-winning movie like Rain Man to now he's doing a found footage movie called The Bay. He went from Rain Man to doing a found footage movie? God. Hancock, Will Smith. I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel to that. The Hangover, really enjoy this one. The Hangover 2, though, I was disappointed because it really was pretty much the same movie. The Happening, this is a film that's grown on me, but not in the way you think. This is so bad, it's hilarious. This, you can watch as a comedy. You really can. This is like Troll 2, Saturday Night Daily Night 2 stuff, man. This fucking director thinks it's such a serious... And it's not even... I know my friend Michael Keane, he hates the fact that when people get affected, they commit suicide, and he says no one would ever do that. That doesn't bother me, because that's the hook of the movie. Something that attacks the most basic human instinct of all, survival. You know, okay, who knows what it is? Could be, you know, something... It's something in the fucking trees. In the wind. But see, this is why I wanted to see this film, because I'm like, okay, something is affecting us that makes us want to commit suicide. That's a cool idea. Think about it, something that affects everybody and it just makes you want to commit suicide in some way. I think that's an interesting. Get my cap. I think that's an interesting idea. I mean, it's science fiction, so you can't say it would never happen. That's why it's science fiction. That's why it's a sci-fi horror film. It's like there's no such thing as aliens, so that never happened. So Dark Harvest the Thing would never happen, and Tron would never happen. All these other films would never happen. So that doesn't bother me. I mean, who's to know? There's some things that make us blind. There's some things that make us deaf. Maybe there'd be something that make us commit suicide. I thought that was a cool idea. The fact that it was the fucking wind, or really the fucking trees doing it, that you have such a horrible acting. I mean, come on. You have Mark Wahlberg saying, "No, man, we're not." What? No. Just Jesus Christ. You don't believe me? Watch a remix on this. Type in "what no happening remix" and this. You eye my lemon drink. I'm like, I guess you can't say lemonade. And you got this guy like talking about hot dogs. I mean, what the fuck are you doing talking about hot dogs? They're really high in fiber. Is this the fact he did that and actually thought people would be scared by it? I'm like, I actually like the concept, but don't explain it. Don't explain where it came from. You don't need to. It's like Night of the Living Dead. You don't have to explain there was a fucking virus, or it's a fucking alien virus, or it's fucking this and that. Just the wrath of God, who knows? Just don't explain it. And don't have your actors act so stupid with shitty dialogue about fucking hot dogs and cheese and crackers. That's like one guy trying to be serious, scared. Cheese and crackers. I'm like, cheese and crackers? But yeah, anyway, Hard Candy. Good thriller. Cheese and crackers. That still fucking gets me. It's so bad, it's fucking hilarious. Then you got The Harvest, a decent film with Miguel Ferrer. Then you got Hatchet, which is not that good. Hatchet 2. I know they're doing a third one. I have no idea why. Collector's edition of Heavy Metal. Really solid, kick-ass movie. There's a movie that was sent to me, Heavy Traffic, by Ralph Bakshi. Same people who did Fretch the Cat. Hellcab, which I thought this was a horror film. I mean, it looks like a horror film. It's not a horror film. It's pretty much a drama, a day in the life of this taxi cab driver and the people he meets and the drama he gets into. Starring Gillian Anderson, John Cusack, Laurie Metcalf, Julianne Moore. Like, these are all the people he picks up. Michael Ironside, John C. Reilly. So it's not a horror film. But if you go on knowing it's not a horror film, it's a drama, it's actually a pretty decent drama. So I don't know why they did it that way, though. This is just false advertising. This basically looks like a horror film, like about killer taxi cab or killer taxi cab driver. This is not the case at all. Very false advertising. The Hidden, classic movie. Fuck the sequel. Has a commentary and a little bit about the special effects. Not much. Should get a documentary about it. Hideaway, same director who did Lawnmower Man and Virtuosity. This is starring Jeff Goldblum and Alicia Silverstone. This is one that was sent to me. I reviewed Hider in the House with Gary Busey and Mimi Rogers. start at the bottom here. We got another film I reviewed, Highwaymen, from the same director of the original The Hitcher. Not as good as that movie, but this is a pretty damn decent movie. Jim Caviezel. Highwaymen. High School High. I actually had fun with this film. That was pretty funny. Pretty much in the tradition of Naked Gun and all those kind of movies. Then you have a classic, in my opinion. This is a remake that did it right. This is not the rule. This is the exception. Hills of Ice remake, starring me. And then the Hills of Ice 2 unrated. I can watch this as a slasher movie. I have fun with it. Definitely not as good as that one though. The original, the classic, The Hitcher, which I reviewed a few times. This is a classic movie. This is a DVD from overseas. The reason I got the DVD from overseas is because this has a commentary. This has a documentary about 40 minutes, 2 short films, trailer, teaser, a lot of stuff on The Hitcher. So if you're a fan of the movie, you need to get the one from overseas. And this is the remake that I saw and ranted on. This is a piece of shit. This is Hollow Man. This says it is the director's cut, but I'm not sure what's so different about it. I really am not. Has an HBO making of, 15 behind the scenes featurettes, stuff about the visual effects. I enjoy Hollow Man. This is directed by Paul Verhoeven. I do agree, he's greatly missed. I mean, he's still alive, but he's not making movies. He should. But this is a fun slasher movie. And I thought that was cool. A slasher movie with an invisible man. I like that. Hostel. I have a confession to make. I've bitched about this movie, but it's mainly because the part I enjoy about this film is actually the ending, where the guy escapes and he's actually kicking ass. But then the sequel totally fucked it up, so just the guy survives and goes through all this shit, and he gets killed in like the first 5 minutes in the sequel. Wow. Eli Roth, you're a fucking idiot. Hot Fuzz. I don't have the first one of this. I realize that. I have part 3, which is known as the horror show. I showed that, and it's the uncut version. But yeah, this is House 2, the second story. So I don't have the first house. I realize that. House 2. There's another remake that did it right. House on Haunted Hill remake. I enjoy this one. Another remake that did it well. House of Wax. This is a fun slasher movie. And you got The Howling 3. This is the only Howling movie I have. So if people go, oh, review the Howling films, I'm like, this is the only one I have. Alright. I'm not really looking to break the bank on you in all the Howling movies, but there's a great cover. It's better than the movie. And this is the 2-disc edition of Hulk. Ang Lee's version. I'll be honest, I can watch this film. It has its problems, but I can watch this film. I will say this is better, though, than Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. Then Hulk versus Thor and Wolverine. I'm a bigger fan of the Wolverine segment. The Hurt Locker, I'm glad this won Best Picture, deserves it. Great movie. This is the 2-disc special edition of I Am Legend. This actually has both versions of the movie. And you can actually play one version of the movie where Will Smith actually lives. which that's the version I actually like better. The big problem with this film, I like this film. I'll say I like the film. I still would love to have seen what Arnold Schwarzenegger, was it Arnold Schwarzenegger and Ridley Scott were going to get together and make this movie? I would love to have seen what that would have been. I really would. I bitch about Ridley Scott, but him and Arnold working together on I Am Legend, I would like to have seen that. Why CGI for all the creatures, the monsters? If I met the director, I would ask, why do you make it all CGI? Why not practical? The Dawn Dead remake, hell, the Dawn Dead from 1978 did it. And you got budget this time. You should just put everybody in makeup effects. Dumb fuck. But that's not how it went. We got I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. The first film, this pack actually has a documentary, a new featurette on the making of the film. I don't have the third one though. Idle Hands is a film I really do enjoy. Devon Sawa, Seth Green, sort of a horror comedy that was pretty funny. Imagine That with Eddie Murphy for the Eddie Murphy collection. This is a film that was sent to me in Bruges. In Bruges. In the Army Now. Yeah, I actually like Pauly Shore, Sue Me. I actually like this film. I grew up with the movie. Then we got Independence Day. This is the 2-disc DVD. I enjoy this film. It gets hated on now, but this film takes the shit out of Battleship. I'm sorry. And a lot of other movies. But a lot of people hate this movie now, but I love Independence Day. Then we have another fun movie, Inner Space with Dennis Quaid and Martin Short. Into the Blue. This is Into the Pit, the documentary on deadpit.com. The Invasion. This is yet again another remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. This is the All Access Collector's Edition of iRobot, which is 2-disc. The Island. This is a film I really did enjoy. Reviewed it when I watched it again. Isolation. On a dark winter's night, aberrant screams of agony fill the air. Something has gone terribly wrong, and 5 unwilling people find themselves trapped on a remote, desolate farm. Over the next 35 hours, we slowly learn the shocking truth. The biotech experiment gone nightmarishly wrong. The awful reality of what has been done, and the possibility that the 5 people may never escape. Kind of will remind you of an X-Files episode, because it's like they sort of experiment with cattle, and things go wrong. I just thought this was a pretty decent movie. Got Stephen King's It. No, they're doing a remake on this. It's not needed. The Item. It's not a good movie, but it has some strange stuff, including this. Well, this has some weird caterpillar type creature having very small, seducing, and having sex with a woman. So that made me go, I gotta own that. It's just a weird film, really. It's just Jack Bruce Monster Slayer. Then we got the 30th anniversary edition of Jaws. Yes, I know, I don't have the Blu-ray, but yeah. Has a booklet. And this still has a lot of good features on it. Has the full 2-hour documentary from back in the day. Other features. Classic movie Jaws. Let's hit the rest of these. We got Jaws 2, which I highly enjoy. Jaws 3, which I like. Jaws the Revenge, which is not that good. This time it's personal. We got Jeepers Creepers. And we got Jeepers Creepers 2. I've heard talk on the third one. It's not really needed. Joe Somebody and Welcome to Mooseport. This is pretty much the only actual film that Ray Romano has starred in. This is the John Candy collection, which has Uncle Butt, The Great Outdoors, and Going Berserk. Johnny Mnemonic. Yeah, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and then the sequel, Journey 2, The Mysterious Island with the Rock. We have Joyride. Interesting thing about this movie is that there's an alternate. I think at one time I said it was 40 minutes, but it's like 29. It has a completely different third act, which they didn't like, so they changed. But I like the alternate ending better. And you can actually click on it and watch the movie with that alternate ending, which I like. Jumpin' Jack Flash, my favorite Whoopi Goldberg movie. Kicking It Old School with Jamie Kennedy. And a classic, Kilograms from Outer Space. I heard they're actually doing a sequel to this, which I'm not sure, because is it just going to be fucking CGI? Or are they actually going to attempt practical? You have Night and Day. Knowing. Which I enjoyed Knowing. Crawl. It's funny, I remember Michael Keane did a video showing his collection, and someone mentioned Crawl. And then someone's like, oh, Crawl sucks. Maybe you suck for not liking Crawl. How about that? Cupcake. Nah, I'm just kidding. If you don't like Crawl, fine, but, you know, I like Crawl. I love it. I grew up with it. I love Crawl. Crawl the Conqueror. Cuffs with Christian Slater and Mila Jovovich. Turn Power into the Fist. This is a hilarious film. I really like the idea behind this. They took pretty much an old kung fu movie. They redubbed the whole thing. And then they added certain scenes in there. So basically they took an existing kung fu movie from like the 70s. They add like silly shit like this. And they redub all the lines of like the actual people who star in that movie. But then they put other people. You watch the features, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's very interesting and very funny. Lake Placid is a film I do enjoy. Land of the Dead. Land of the Lost. The Langoliers. Bad special effects, but I like the cast in it. I like the story behind it. The Last Forkbender. I did not pay for this. This was free. Like, someone left this behind, and it's like, okay, maybe one day I'll talk about M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movies. Last to Surrender with Roddy Piper. I thought this was actually a pretty decent action flick. The Last Winter definitely has some good atmosphere to the film. Lawnmower Man. This is the Ultimate Edition of Legend with both versions of the film. This too has a bunch of special features, so really this is the one to get of Legend. Legend of Hell House, which I highly enjoy, with Roddy McDowall. Leviathan. Said so many good things about Leviathan. Although Michael Keane, he showed his and he had like a different cover. Let me see. Let me know if you have this version, Michael. Because this actually has a booklet with some stuff on the making of the film. It'd be pretty cool. Plus, I like this cover better than the cover he had. I think he has one of the newer DVDs, but this is the older MGM. No features, once again, but it has a pretty much an 8-page booklet, and I like the cover better here. I like Peter Weller and the Reflection of the Monster. I like that cover better. Let's do a t-shirt with that cover on it. Leviathan. Little Man. Okay. Joe Dante film, Looney Tunes Back in Action. Lord of Illusions is a film directed by Clive Barker that I do enjoy, starring Scott Bakula. Yeah, directed by Clive Barker. This is the unrated director's cut. Lost and Found with David Spade. I like David Spade. This is the 2-disc special edition of The Lost Boys. Lost Boys, The Tribe, to finish the collection. And the much better Lost Boys, The Thirst. Lost in Translation. Made with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. Also has Peter Falk in it. Prompter Johnson. Alright. Then we got Mad Men. The Man Who Knew Too Little, which I enjoyed, with Bill Murray. The Manglers is a film I've talked about a lot. I actually enjoy the film. I like Ted Levine. This is the 30th anniversary edition of Maniac, which has 2 commentary tracks. Lot of special features. A lot of special features on this one. Maniac Cop Special Edition. This is the one with the commentary by Bruce Campbell, Larry Cohen, William Lustig, and Jay Chataway. And also has a feature with star Robert Z'Dar. That's the only Maniac Cop I have. Man's Best Friend. Maximum Overdrive. Of course, this is the original cover because they had this cover, then they said this was too violent, so they took it down. And now if you get it, it's like on my raw deal, the 2-pack I have with that and raw deal. This is all covered up. There's no dead body. There's no blood. Pansies. But look how more awesome that cover is. There's a body inside. There's blood dripping. Much better cover. And I'm glad I have this. I would love to see the unrated version, though. Meet the Feebles. This is a very... I hate to break to you, Ted and Seth MacFarlane. This movie beat you to it. Let's Meet the Feebles, though. Directed by Peter Jackson. Men at Work, very fun comedy. Starring and directed by Emilio Estevez. Also starring Charlie Sheen and Keith David. Very fun movie. And let me get the rest of this. And that'll be the end of this part. We got, let's see how this, okay, this is upside down. Men in Black, Collector Series, Men in Black 2. I really enjoyed Men in Black 3, so I really want to get that when it comes out, or probably wait till when it comes out and then wait till it's cheaper. Midnight Run with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. I have Mimic, the first one, on Blu-ray. So I guess I don't have the theatrical version. I used to, but the director's cut, there's like nothing really that different about it. I guess that's why. But thanks to Michael Keane, Mimic 2 and Mimic 3, The Sentinel, which I actually like this sequel. Mindhunters, directed by Rennie Harlin. This film didn't get much of a release. I don't know why. This is a very solid film. James Todd Smith, also known as L. Cool J, Johnny Lee Miller, Catherine Morris, Val Kilmer, Christian Slater. Really enjoy this film, Mindhunters. Again, directed by Rennie Harlin, which I enjoy as a director. 2-disc of Minority Report. This is a wonderful film. Miracle Mile. If you've never seen Miracle Mile, definitely check it out. Really highly recommend that movie. We got Mirrors. This is the unrated version. Misery. This is the collector's edition with 2 commentary tracks and a lot of featurettes on the making of the film. Movie that was sent to me, Mission of Justice, which I really enjoyed with Jeff Wincott. Miss Congeniality and Miss Congeniality 2. And the last two for today would be, well, this part is Mission to Mars, which I did a review for. Really was surprised seeing this movie again. And The Mod Squad with Claire Danes, Omar Epps, and Giovanni Ribisi. But either way, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Ideas Part 8 later.